Hello.
Hi.
Could you maybe tell a little bit about yourself? Maybe just shortly introduce who you are and.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Krishna Prem, and my name means ecstatic love. And Osho gave me that name to grow into because I remember I was totally miserable when he said my name means ecstatic love. I said, maybe he doesn't know me. But in fact, he was pulling me forward into who I am, you know? And looking at you, I remember I was a younger man at that point, and that's why when I met you, Marcelina, I said, how old is your body? You know? Because we are eternal. We have been here before. We're here now, and we'll be here again. And so I say, how is your body? Because we are actually eternally the same age. I hit the wall, a lot of us do, and we get a little older, and we lose our innocence. And what Osho said to me, and looking at you, I feel it, that the best definition of enlightenment is to be a child again, but with awareness. So our whole lifetime really is to remember, to regain our innocence, have a great time, be interviewed.
Can you maybe tell a little bit more about the meaning of his
Yeah,
name?
well, basically, as I said, the shit had hit the fan. My whole life was in ruins, and you can do one or two things with that. You can get depressed, or you can move. Movement is a great way to get out of depression. And I moved from America to India. I met Osho, and he looked at me and he said, the first words were, the revolution is inside of yourself. And it was an orgasm because all the pain I was carrying was actually not mine. It was America, my parents, my girlfriend. And when he said that, everything left my body. I could see America. I could see my parents. I could see my girlfriend. But I was still here. And I was willing to fight with myself, but I didn't want to fight with the U.S. government. I was willing to be born again, but I didn't want to fight with my parents. So they all left my body, and I was able just to deal with myself. And that's how I became my name. That's how I became ecstatic love. I couldn't have done it without letting go of my past. And when you let go of your past, it sounds so good, but that's when the work begins, not when the work ends. So when you can let go of Marcelina, when you can let go of Poland, when you can let go of even being a young woman, the work begins. It doesn't end. And I often laugh because meditation means to practice life, you know? So it's, once you're alive, you don't have to practice anymore. You don't even have to meditate anymore. But it's a real process to regain your innocence. It's almost like killing yourself in order to become yourself.
That seems that it's been a very long and intriguing journey for you with him. And I'm
Yeah.
also curious about the moment of encounter because
Yeah.
probably this was also an
Yeah.
interesting story. Was it an
Yes.
accident?
I had just had my first fight with my girlfriend. We were new to love. And we had just a major fight. But we were also codependent, so she didn't necessarily leave me, but she didn't love me anymore. And we were sitting down in a restaurant in India when this young girl came to sit with us. And my girlfriend got jealous because it appeared like she was trying to pick me up. And my girlfriend went to the woman's room, and I said to the girl, why? What are you doing? And she said, oh, I apologize. I'm not flirting. I'm just so in love with my teacher, Osho, and I want to mention that he's having a meditation camp in the desert outside of Mumbai, India. And when my girlfriend came back, I said, she's not flirting with me. She's telling me about someone she loves called Osho, and he's meditating this weekend. What do you think? She said, wow, that's why we came to India. Why would we come? Just to fight? No, we came to love. Let's go meet this man, see if he's good for us. And so totally I went by accident totally, I went on a 3-hour train journey, third class, into the desert of India. No Westerner has ever experienced a living hell like a third class train in India. There were thousands and thousands of people. I was sitting in this train, jumping up and down. I got off the train, and Osho wasn't there. He was away from there. I had to hire a bull. I had to hire a bullock cart. I don't know how to say that in any other language. And I get on the cart, and I'm whipping the bull, and we're heading for Osho. And I parked my bull. I parked my cart. Besides Osho's rented Chevrolet, I know as a young woman, you probably heard Osho had many Rolls Royces. 50 years ago, he had a rented car. I had a rented bullock cart. But I knew this was a Rolls Royce moment. I knew as soon as I saw him, I went, my God, my God. And again, he's beautiful. For me, as a man who was in the game of meeting women, I couldn't believe how much I was falling in love with the man. I had to check myself, it never happened to me before. That pure love. I mean, I had loved my football coaches and my teachers, but it was always a competition. When you meet Osho, it's not competition. It's ecstasy, and but I was miserable, and so when he told me my name is Krishna Prem, I went, oh my gosh, and I don't know how to explain it in any other way except he gave me the courage to look into my own pain and to come out the other side. So I sit here with you today saying thank you. Delighted that a young woman even wants to say hi. I'm not in the game anymore, but who's not alive? And Osho gave me that ability to love unconditionally also. And so it's been a 50-year journey. And I say that because many people my age are destroyed. Because again, I said it's not easy. It's not like pain disappears. It's that you can see yourself in pain. The witness was born the moment I met Osho. Whenever, I'm always looking at life through who I am. If I hadn't met Osho, I'd probably be looking at us, the space between us. Having met a master, I'm looking at myself, seeing you, and what I'm trying to share with you today is I can hope that you can spend time seeing me because of who you are. That's when the journey is delicious. Yeah. Witnessing is the key.
I hear you saying a lot about love, and as I understand, you fell in love with this man, with Osho, from the first sight.
Yeah,
so
but the journey just begins then, though.
Yes,
you know.
I'm also wondering, because it's been so many years, so I'm really curious about the shadows of this relationship.
Yes, I said to Osho, this is great to learn how to meditate because I had a dysfunctional life. I was adopted by my own sister when my parents died, and I always knew she was only my sister, but I called her Ma, and the love was immense because we didn't have that conditioning of being a mother and a son. But basically, I always knew I didn't have parents, and I tried to, of course, make him my father. He said, no way, no way. And he said, I know you're hoping to meditate so that you don't have to look at your dysfunctional life, but in fact, I'm sending you to primal therapy because in order for you to meditate, you need to be healthy first. So many people in the West, we go to meet a master because we don't want to look at our lives. When you meet an Osho, he's saying, no, I want you to look at your life from the inside and the out. I'm not going to let you cut any corners. If you remember the times when you were really happy, I know you're a dancer, when that dancing is happening, there's no such thing as time. When he steps on your toe and you trip and you hit the wall and you go, shit, then there's 24 hours in a day. Misery takes up all day long. Ecstasy takes up no time at all. So most of us define life by when we were miserable. I have made the And I define life when I'm ecstatic. Misery is so easy to be, huh? I have a lot of experience. I can show you a lot of times when I'm miserable. But it's fun to be happy. It's fun to dance. It's fun to disappear. And but you also have to pay your rent. So it's not like ecstasy doesn't have to pay its rent.
Yeah, to another question about how relevant are Osho's teachings nowadays
Oh,
in
yes.
these changing times. Like,
Osho was a man, a human being. I'm so lucky I met him. But basically, what Osho was saying is, I'm not teaching me, I'm teaching you to be you. And he would say, let's make it even simpler. I don't want you to become a Buddhist. I want you to become a Buddha. And what a master is, really, he's saying, stop, I'm worth listening to. So it's much better if you can go beyond the personality and get into the beingness. And that's what Osho said to me. His last words were, I'd like to be forgiven and forgotten, because he was so charismatic, so good looking. We ended up totally attached to him. And he said, please, I just want to be your friend now. But did you do your homework? When he says, be my friend, he's not saying, you don't have to meditate anymore. I'm not here anymore. You can just relax and do whatever you want. He's saying, no, no, no. Did you do your homework? If you've done your homework, we can be good friends. If you haven't done your homework, please leave. Actually, it's more difficult now because it's up to you. When I met him, I thought it was up to him. But in fact, I was wrong. It is up to me. And I hope that what you get today after we gossip and have a cup of coffee is, I would love to watch myself dance. I'd like to watch myself make love. But in the end, even the watcher has to disappear. But we have to start somewhere. We have to say thank you. That's what Rumi said. If you're going to say one prayer a day, let it be thank you. We never say thank you. We think, from the heart.
that's true. That's very true. And I believe that there is a lot of people who are not that familiar with Osho's teachings, who are maybe just beginning their journey. So, what would you recommend for them to start with first? Like, because there is a lot of meditation techniques. There's also a lot of books that Osho wrote.
Basically, Osho's teachings was to meditate, but you can't meditate without letting go of the pain that brought you to the concept of meditation. So he was amazing in that way, because he was from the East, but he was aware of the West. So he would say, and hundreds of years ago, we could just sit, close our eyes, and meditate. Too much going on in the West. So he recommended breathing, and chaotic breathing, and flooding yourself with energy so that you couldn't hide the pain. It would come to the surface, and then you let go of the pain. You have to let go of your whole past in order to be here now. So in other words, breathing, letting go, then meditating. And sometimes if you see me on my bicycle in Amsterdam, my one-speed grandmother bicycle, it looks like I'm talking to myself, but I'm just letting go by just being an idiot for just 2 minutes a day. You need to learn to be an idiot again. There's so little space in the West to be a fool, to be an idiot, to be a dancer. So did your parents call you last night and say, I'm so glad you're dancing tonight? No, they want you to be somebody important. Osho taught both. Dancing leads to doing. Very often, doing does not lead to dancing. So you have to go back and you have to learn to be an idiot again. You happen to be beautiful. Who cares? In 50 years, you're going to look like me. You have to start now. You letting your beauty remind you that he thinks I'm beautiful. Do I think I'm beautiful? When you ask yourself, do I think I'm beautiful? You'll find ugly places. And those ugly places need to be breathed into, They need to be screamed out of you. And not forever. Once you get the joke, you don't need to do the dynamic meditation. Don't let meditation become a crutch. Learn, learn, learn. And know when you can move on and just be. The only reason to meditate is so that you can enjoy this lifetime before you die. For everybody that doesn't want to meditate, they're as perfect as I am, except that death is going to be very shocking. Very shocking. So death means the death of each moment, so that the next moment is brand new. When I said you need to let go of your past, I'm talking about the emotional equivalent. You did have parents, but you need to take away all those emotions that your parents gave you so that you would never forget that they were your parents. You would never forget how much they did for you. You need to take the crutches away. Once you love your parents for no reason at all, when you meet your parents in your future, you're going to say, let's have dinner together. And I'm so glad you made love. I'm so glad I'm here. Right now, we blame our parents. When you blame your parents, you hate them here. When you let go of your parents, you love them here. It's so simple. To be in the moment, though, you have to let go of your attachment to the past.
Yeah.
Then the future is really fun.
And what would be your advice for meditators that are maybe getting frustrated because they don't see immediate results, or maybe it doesn't work for them?
I would just encourage you to do the dynamic again. I would encourage you to taste the first bite of food instead of the last bite of food. Most people end their meal saying, oh, there's only one bite left, I'm going to taste it. Meditation says, when you're hungry, eat, but taste from the beginning. And I definitely recommend madness, because most of the time we're unhappy. It's because we're critically looking at life from our minds. So Osho had terrific madness techniques. I recommend every single one of them, because I'm saying to you, really, 2 minutes of madness a day will make you happy 23 hours and 58 minutes a day. But there's no shortcuts until you don't need a shortcut.
And do you feel that doing Osho meditations or being very consistent with the practice can lead you to enlightenment, which is such a big word, but how would you define it? Like, where does it lead to?
I was sitting in front of Osho and I bought a coconut. In those days we wore a robe, a orange robe, not even maroon, and I had a coconut under my balls, and I walked like this, boop, 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 because I wanted to give him a coconut as a surprise. And he said to me, how do you feel? And what I had rehearsed saying is, ever since I met you, I feel enlightened. But what I said was, I feel lucky, because the truth is, that's how I felt. I couldn't lie. And then the coconut actually rolled down to his feet, and he just started laughing. And I said, what's so funny, Osho? And he said, well, I'm so tired of people being enlightened. I'm so glad you feel lucky. And then he said, you stay with me until you don't feel lucky anymore. It was a curse, because I still feel lucky. Our generation did a lot for you. I hope your parents did a lot for you. And so you have a much better chance, except that life is so expensive now and so busy now that most people, it takes them 24 hours just to be tired, just to be. Gravity is doing what you don't want to do. Ecstasy is doing what you want to do. But gravity, it takes up a lot of time. But we need to look for ecstasy. We need to look for joy. We need to say thank you. And by the way, the universe is always saying thank you to us. That's the one thing we were never taught. We were never taught that we're valuable. We were never taught that life loves us. We're taught, please love life. Well, that's only half the game. Once you love life, life has always loved you. You just become aware of it. When I walk down the street, I see the flowers saying, thank you, please smell me. You know, I stop and I smell the roses because they're saying, "Hi, Krishna Prem. What an idiot you are. You actually have time to smell me?"
Yeah.
But Osho taught me that he loved that I loved him, but he said, "Can you feel my love?" When you meet an Osho, he says, "Oh, the heart is wonderful, but you need to trust me and fall into your belly where you're actually one with existence." But that's only half the game to be here. Then you have to breathe out. You have to rise up from the belly into the heart and then share. Now, when I say share, Osho was very clear. You can make love or you can meditate. And he never divided the two. He said, if you feel like making love, great. If you want to meditate, great. I always felt he was leaning to meditation, but I don't know. Breathing in, we take care of ourselves. Breathing out, we thank the universe. And both are important. So what you and I do is we take care of our body too much.
Yeah.
The God in you is more valuable than your job. The God in you is more valuable than your parents. And of course, what are our parents saying? If I love you 99%, why do you care about the other 1%? Why are you so greedy? But until you move from the sticky love, governments, religions, parents, until you remember that you are God, remember that 1% needs to be nourished, then the other 99% becomes fun. And loving a boy only is worth it if it brings you to silence. If love doesn't bring you to silence, you have to ask yourself if he's the right person. If you meet a boy or a girl or yourself that brings you towards silence. So making love is only love unless it brings you to the heart. I'm not suggesting making love is bad. I'm just saying if it doesn't touch your heart, maybe not to have another date with that person. You want to be touched. It's time now. Time to be touched. If a boy doesn't bring love to you that's unconditional, you have to let it go. After you had some fun. You have some fun first. But you need to know when to let go. Osho used to say all the time, an enlightened man does not make the same mistake once. An intelligent woman makes the same mistake once. If you make the same mistake twice, it becomes conditioning. It becomes ignorance. Conditioning is simply making the same mistake again without the awareness that you just made a mistake. So I love it when Osho said, "Pooh, you have to be so intelligent to meditate. You have to be so intelligent to drop the mind." You know, stupid people can never let go of the mind. Bright people can see that the mind isn't doing enough for them.
Yeah. I feel like I would like to ask you also maybe a little bit controversial question, because there is also a lot of controversy with Osho.
Yeah.
With the documentary Wild Wild Country, and like there is this image of just, let's say, sexual approach to meditation and life attached to his image.
What happened for me is that I could then judge what happened around an enlightened man taking a risk of allowing me to be sexually free. You know, I'm an ordinary man, and yet I'm not interested in women right now. How is that possible? It's because I was given the opportunity to be extraordinary with women. And then what Osho would say, but did you hurt that person? He only had one rule for sexuality. If you're going to hurt that person, don't do it. Now, those are great words, but I'm hot, I'm young, I'm your age. I look at this girl I want to make love to. Can I remember? If you're going to hurt her, don't do it. So there were a lot of mistakes made around Osho. Because I couldn't necessarily breathe into the truth when I was very horny, very excited. And to this day, I've hurt very little people, but I have hurt them, But I found out the next day. I don't know, as a boy, I found out the next day when the woman said to me, I wish I hadn't been with you. That's what I mean by pain. I remember the pain involved in finding out I would have been so much better off not making love than making love. But again, the French, I had to learn from my mistakes, and hopefully, for me, the pain wasn't in the first woman that said that. The pain was for me, the second woman that said that. Because the first woman, she was also excited. She just didn't enjoy, which I appreciate. But the second woman I should have known before I made love. So Osho's teachings are distorted by the fact that we're lonely, that Krishna Prem is lonely. It's not distorted by the message that he taught me. So yes, oh my God, it's really, really been painful. And even, I don't know how to explain it except that it brought me again to witnessing my life and forgiving myself and promising myself not to not make mistakes, but to be so alert that the mistake isn't made in the first place, But Osho didn't want people hurt. Morality was broken down. And what happens is when you're around somebody so alive as Osho, then you can see that morality is almost a thought from your parents. The beauty of it is once there's no thought of your parents, it's who you are. So it looks like morality, but it's actually more honest, more vulnerable, and you need to really be alert that you're just information, beautiful young woman. What does that mean to me? And I'm happy to say what it means for me is I want you to be happy. Yeah. I want you to become aware. I want you to, to grow up. I would love that for you. And you have that, I can see it in you. You have that ability. If you don't want to meditate, then you can make love all day long. If you meditate, you might find out you make love when you want to. And there's a qualitative difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's all about the practice and practice with awareness.
Osho said to me, and I love it and I'll share it with you, he said, if you can leave your body with 5 friends, you had a successful life. I think there's something like 8 billion people here on the planet. Mm-hmm. He said, please go for 5 good friends. Yeah. Can you believe that? Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I was working for Osho. I was driving a Bobcat, that's a little tractor, and I was in the middle of nowhere. And it was raining out, but you still worked because that was, mm-hmm. your life was to support the commune. Mm-hmm. And the Osho came in his car. He was driving right at me. It was a rainy day and he had the windshield wipers on. And all of a sudden he shut off the windshield wipers so we could see each other. And I remember saying, my God, isn't that beautiful that he wants to see me? Again, now I realize he wanted to see me, but he really wanted me to see him. Mm. So those are the beautiful, beautiful moments of just in the middle of nowhere and the master saying hello. Yeah. He could have drove by, I would have loved him anyway, but it was nice to have that intimacy of looking into each other's eyes and then going back to work.
Yeah. And if someone wants to start or continue the practice, I believe that the best way is to maybe participate in some kind of retreat or just become a part of the OSHO community or something like this. So can you maybe tell a little bit more where to find this information?
We're sitting in Amsterdam where we're lucky enough to have a place called Mevlana where you can actually do the evening meeting each night. You can do dynamic. That meditation means aloneness, and it's better to meditate with other people. To meditate alone, in my experience, has never been as great as to be alone in a group of meditators. I do live in India, and I do meditate with hundreds of people at a time. And when we leave, we always think, it was Osho. But it's just that we're watching a screen, Osho's on the screen. But I laugh because I know that I got stoned from meditating with like-minded people who came to that meditation at But from 7 to 9 at night, we say right on the door, please leave your mind and your shoes outside. You leave your baggage outside. Take 2 hours off. So yes, I do recommend, if you can find friends to meditate with, it's so simple. We learned it as little kids. It feels so good if somebody else touches you than if you touch yourself. It's more sharing, more caring, more delightful. But you can always be alone. It works to be alone too, but we're in it together. We are one existence appearing as two friends. There's no separation between me and you except what the mind offers us. Out here trying to pay our rent, but there's no value unless you're willing to go into who you are all the way into not knowing. Because the more you ask yourself who you are, you find out you don't know anything. That can be very painful until you, what Osho called the cosmic joke, until you begin to look at who you are, and actually becomes hilarious.
I think that I also touched upon this topic a little bit before. So you mentioned that the best way to practice Osho idea of life is to be with people.
Yeah.
So there are like retreats, and there are also different communities that you can join.
Yeah.
So do you also run some kind of retreats?
Yeah. When I teach Osho, I learn about myself. Because I'm a people person, because I do get more deep in meditation, because I teach Marcelina. That's what I do every single weekend. Sometimes I have 100 people. Oftentimes I have one person. And I share Osho, I share meditation. I go deeper into who I am. And Krishna Prem, who is a great teacher, he said, as soon as you say Ukraine and Russia, you're already violent. And Osho would say, as soon as you draw a line in the sand, Holland, Germany, you're already violent. The earth is one, including 300 countries.
Yeah.
So every day I have to rebuild myself to remember that there is no such thing as separation. And I think the difference between Osho and me is he knows, and I have to relearn every day.
Yeah.
And that's for me who Osho is. He no longer has to be reminded. He lives it. I need to be reminded. But what I have learned, and why I'm so proud of myself, is that I'm willing to take pain and look into it until I find peace.
Yeah.
It's not easy, by the way. There's no bragging today, right? So I teach because I need to learn. I teach because I need to love.
Yeah.
But at the end I say thank you, because the joke is on me.
Yeah.
The joke is on me. And that's why we call life in the East the cosmic joke. The cosmic joke is all my problems I've created myself. All my ecstasy was a gift of life.
So you also mentioned about your books, that you wrote several books in the 7 languages.
So the first book I wrote, called G-U-I-U, spells guru, and the idea is I came to India to meet a guru, and I met myself. Osho didn't want to be a guru. He wanted me to meet myself. So the first book is based on meeting Osho and my primal experience of letting go of my past so that I can meditate. The basement of life, the primal. Because we all had parents and we took it too serious. It's nice to have parents, but not nice to take it serious. So that was the first book. Once you finish your primal work, then you go to the attic and you clean up your ceiling. You learn to meditate.
So you would recommend, if someone is interested, to first start with the book, the G-U-R-U, continue with?
Well, you might want to start with Aloneness, because I had help with an editor. G-U-I-U is very raw, very scary, and I used myself as the example of being an idiot, but Aloneness is even better. But the best part is writing your own book. We all have a book inside of us, and every book, it doesn't lead to a happy ending, but it leads to you being naked. Every person that writes a book is only saying one thing: how can I be real? How can I be love? We were born real. We were born in love. My God, what happened to us? What happened to us? Yeah, I recommend my meditation play shop. I recommend love more. I recommend passion turning into compassion more. And every day and every way I touch people, and I'm so happy about it. I just carry on, you know.
That's a beautiful message.
Yeah.
Turning passion into compassion.
So I recommend being whoever you are right now and having the courage to say, I want to know who I am. I want to know who I am. Osho happened to get enlightened young. Very, very few people get enlightened before 28 years old. You know, there's no such thing as death when you begin to meditate. The body dies, but you're still alive. Maybe. I don't know that for sure. Right? Stuff.
Yeah. Thank you
Good
so
stuff.
much.
You're great,
Yeah,
Marcelina.
yeah.
You're great. Look how good she looks. There's proof. Huh?
Thank you for healing.
Yeah. 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 Brilliant. Brilliant. That was fun.
Hearing me.
Yes, really great. I think people, you know,
Thank you for
I got something out of it.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Yeah, and your pacing was very good. Thank you. Because I get in trouble sometimes. I could do an hour in every question you ask. You know.
Thank you for love.
So it's good when you know, and I think that's important in relationships too. That you really go, I have something I want to say too. You know. God, it's so amazing.
No, definitely.
How long did we talk, Tarangita? Just for fun? About 50 minutes? 50 minutes?
For